Hey guys, all right, here we go. The final chapter of What's Daring Detective Like Me Doing in the Doghouse. Don't forget, there you go, there's Stevie, and there's little Marietta, who's a mess. All right, here we go. It took about a week for things to settle down. We got interviewed by a bunch of reporters, but we never did get on TV. We didn't get our pictures in the paper either. I guess the reporters thought Marietta was cuter, even with her funny haircut. There were pictures of her everywhere. The captions underneath said dumb things like, "The dog came back," and "Marietta makes a home run." There were a lot of pictures of Bob Jones, too. He was grinning at the cameras and everyone, and even the ones that showed him being led into the police station in handcuffs. You'd think he'd be embarrassed. He wasn't, not even when the police searched his house and found his collection of stolen property. The opera singer's toupee, a baby carriage that had never had any baby Lawrence in it ever, a mountain bike belonging to Bob Jones' neighbor, a purple hat and a white coat belonging to Bob Jones' Aunt Flora, a silver toothbrush belonging to Mick Jagger, a set of fondue forks belonging to the mayor of Vancouver, and of course the Prime Minister's underwear. The only place we did get our pictures in was the school newspaper, the Beacon. Unfortunately, the photo was a little blurry. In fact, it was hard to tell which face was mine and which was Jessie's. That's because Evangeline Patterson Blakely, who took the picture, always jiggles her camera. The real thrill was the letters. Both Jessie and I got letters from the president, thanking us for looking after Marietta. Thanking us. He didn't even mention the haircut and the dye job. It just goes to show, doesn't it? If you love someone or something, I guess, you don't really care what it looks like. You'd think if you were the president of the United States, you'd be embarrassed by a crummy-looking dog like Swampwater. But no, the president held Swampwater up proudly for the cameras. I was impressed. I was impressed by the letter, too, which was on extremely fancy paper. The signature was real, and you could tell by turning the paper over and seeing the dents from the president's pen. We also got letters on fancy paper from the Prime Minister of Canada and the Mayor of Vancouver. The Prime Minister thanked us for recovering his luggage. He didn't say a word about underwear, but you wouldn't really expect him to. And our letters from the mayor, well, they were a complete surprise. We didn't even know about the fondue forks. Anyway, Jessie and I were in a pretty good mood when we biked down to the Granville Market and the following weekend. I figured I was still owed those fries I had missed out on my last visit. So we were heading for the fish and chip place when Jessie spotted a magazine at the newsstand. "Stevie, look, it's Marietta!" There she was on the cover, in color. Almost all green was gone from her coat, and even the yellow wasn't so bad. Jessie quickly handed over the money for a copy. "I bet our picture's in here, Stevie. Gee, I've never been in a magazine before." We found a place to sit down, and Jessie flipped through the magazine, looking for the article. "Look," he said, "here's Swampwater and the president, and here's a picture of the Prime Minister and a big picture of Bob Jones, and gee, Stevie, I don't even see us anywhere." "Read the story, Jessie. We've got to be in there somewhere." I waited. While he glanced through. "What?" The word came out like an explosion, and Jessie smacked the pages together in disgust. "What's the matter?" I asked, rescuing the scrunched magazine. "They called me Jeffrey Kolnicki." I skimmed the article. It took a while because neither of us, our names showed up until the third page. Finally, there we were. Jeffrey Kolnicki and what? Steve Diamond? The next line said we were two local boys who had provided the police with helpful information. "Jessie, look, it says I'm a boy. It says my name is Steve." Jessie gawked. "Oh, that's sick." "You bet it is." I turned the page, looking for more. "I can't believe this. It hardly mentions us. It's all about Bob Jones and Marietta and the president." Jessie nodded, disgusted. "Did you see this?" He pointed. "It says Bob Jones is writing a book. He's calling it Marietta and Me." "What? Marietta and him?" Now I was really teed off. "He hardly got near Marietta. We had her the whole week." "You bet we had her. All those baths, my skin is still wrinkled." He held out his hand as evidence. "Marietta and him. Ha, ha, I can't believe it." "Jeffrey," agreed Jessie. We sat there fuming as we searched the article one last time. "It's not fair. First we don't get on TV, and now this." "Outrageous," I muttered. But then, catching sight of Jessie's red, scowling face, I couldn't help it. I giggled. "What are you laughing at?" A scowl deepened. I laughed harder. "Jessie, do you remember why Bob Jones got into all this trouble in the first place? Remember the police profile?" "Sure, athletic, juvenile." He stopped. "Oh, it's looking for attention part, huh?" "Yep," I said. Jessie's smile turned a little sheepish. "So you're laughing because we're looking for attention too?" I nodded, thinking of Gayleen and all the strange things she did because she didn't feel sure about herself. I guess my dad's right. Everybody wants to be noticed. Everybody wants to feel special. The trick is not getting weird about it. Jessie grunted. I just want them to get my name right. Jeffrey. Gee. Forget it. Let's just get something to eat. I can't. I spent all my money on this dumb magazine. He jammed it into his back pocket. I was still feeling rich from my week at Barking Buddies. It's okay. I'll buy. 10 minutes later, we were sitting on a bench by the wharf outside the market, eating fish and chips and chocolate-sprinkled donuts. The sunlight glinted off the ocean, and seagulls flew, squawking around, hoping for a handout. A little kid in a red wool hat was chasing pigeons, making them take off in a noisy flutter of gray and white wings, not even noticing when they came down again right behind him. Do you remember being a little kid and chasing pigeons? I asked, dropping a hot, vinegary, salty French fry into my mouth. Of course, said Jessie. French fries, sunshine, pigeons, no dogs. It was just about perfect. Stevie? Uh-huh. You know what's funny? Bob Jones kept saying he had no imagination, but look at all those disguises he came up with. He had tons of imagination. You're right. I let my eyes droop shut. Sunlight danced on my eyelids, making yellow-red swirls of color. Maybe he just had trouble using his imagination. Adults are like that sometimes. Haven't you noticed? Mm-hmm. Not as kids, though. I shook my head. No way. We sat in silence. When I was a little kid, said Jessie after a while, I used to imagine there was this gigantic tiger living under my bed. I was afraid he would grab me by the ankles, so I used to leap all the way from the door to my bed in one jump. Jessie? Yeah? How would a gigantic tiger fit under your bed? I don't know, he just did. I smiled. When I was a little kid, I used to imagine that all big rocks had money inside them. Gold coins. I thought that all you had to do was break a rock open and you'd have enough money for the rest of your life. Stevie? Yeah? Did you ever try it, break a rock open? All the time. Did they ever break? Nope. So maybe it's true. Maybe there are gold coins inside. I smiled. Maybe. For the next few minutes, we just sat there listening to the gurgles of the pigeons and the cries of the gulls. I bet we could write a great book, said Jessie finally. You and me. I sat up straight and grinned. Like about a president's dog that gets stolen and a couple of kids who die at green? Jessie shook his head. Nah, something way more exciting than that. Okay, but not right now, right? Okay? Nope. We're way too busy right now. We leaned back against the bench and closed our eyes. Hey, are there any donuts left? I asked. Sure. He passed the bag and I took one out. Thanks, Jeffrey. No problem. Steve. Awesome. I love the end. All right, my dears. Next time, I will start our next Stevie Diamond book. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon.